Well, good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday again, and it's time to do our Ask Mason show that we do. I've got Derrick Silas with me this morning, the Director of Communications here in Enid. I want to remind you of the website askmason@enid.org. If you have questions that you want to send in, please do. Also, had someone ask me whether or not we ever use people's names on this. We don't. So if you want to send in a question or you've been afraid to because you are afraid that we would mention your name, we don't ever do that. So feel free to do that, or if you find me out on the street somewhere, just ask me a question. We will do our very best to answer them right here on this show every other week. So with all that being said, Derrick, what questions do we have this morning?
Well, yesterday, Monday, you did a very good presentation with the Enid Rotary Club.
Thank you.
You made a presentation about various things we're doing in Enid, and they had some questions at the end. You talk about the youth sports programs in Enid, and let's talk about that. Let's just talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. I'd love to. I love youth sports, by the way. With as many sons as I have, you get pretty involved with that. But yeah, kind of basically what I was saying yesterday was that currently we have just over 1,400 kids that play in our youth sports programs. When I say youth sports, that's football, t-ball, baseball, and softball. So it includes boys and girls, and I mean that's quite a large group. But it's actually more. We have more baseball players or more players in EJRT than we actually do on the soccer teams right now. But what we have noticed is that program needs some work. It's needed some work for a long time on several things. Kind of how it's run to best serve that amount of kids. Here in Enid, I talked so much yesterday about the facilities, and I'm going to again, but also we want a great program for our kids. And we want a program that everyone will be able to play. We don't want anyone not to be able to go out and play sports because there's so many other things that their parents are having to pay for. So we think it's important that kids participate in sports. It teaches them how to be a good winner. Teaches them, more importantly, how to be a good loser sometimes, and how to play on a team. So those are all things that as adults we have to do in our jobs every day, and that's a good place to learn that. Good. I was out last night watching one of my grandsons play t-ball, and it's just amazing how they are so excited about being out there, at least for a while, But the coaches help both sides. They make sure they get to the bases they're supposed to go to. We want them to end that year with a good experience. So it's a good experience. We want them to come back and play again. And then what we've noticed on the facility side is we've kind of neglected Crossland a little bit and our football program. Not for any reason. It's just, as things have gone on, they haven't gotten the attention and the care probably that other locations have here in Enid. And, when you are competing against a facility that looks like David Allen, when you're looking at a facility that looks like the Stride Center, and now then our soccer complex, it's just all but done out there. It really spotlights in a negative way what all needs to be done out at Crossland. And so that being said, we are currently putting together a steering committee. And I mentioned yesterday, I'm not big on committees, because they tend to take forever and they never seem to come to a conclusion. Every time I've set up a committee, I like a start time and a finish time, a very short amount of time, and have it very specific on what we want that committee to do. And that's what we're doing with this steering committee. Go out there and take a look at that thing. Can it be repaired? Can we make it look like a place that other communities want to come and do tournaments? Or do we need to start completely over? We have a lot more land out there than what it looks like. We've got problems with the sewer out there. We've got problems with the way it's so spread out. Parents are having to drop one child off at a ball field and then take another child to another ball field. And that gives parents concerns where they can't keep a close eye on some of those kids. So we just need to rethink that. And over the next 3 or 4 years, we need to get behind that. I'll finish that question with this. Yesterday when I was talking in 2022, the Junior College World Series that we have every year, we've got a 2-year extension on that. But in 2022, the financial impact to Enid was $1,076,000, which is significant. And I believe that's with 12 teams that come. We have an opportunity in our youth sports to play in what's called OK Baseball, I think is the name of it. It's a league we can play in. If we had really good facilities like all the rest of them around town, we could host the regional tournament, which has 64 teams. Wow. Now, when you calculate that, and I mentioned this yesterday, instead of the JUCO World Series, and I'm not knocking that at all. I mean, we love the JUCO World Series, but they bring in about 190 ball players, depending on how many is on each team. This would bring in almost 900 kids.
Wow.
If you figure 3 coaches per team, it's about 192 coaches. And then we know that each ball player brings about 2.35 other people with them, whether that's a parent or a grandparent or a friend, whoever that happens to be. So if you calculate that out, that's another 2,100 individuals that would come watch these games. So all that being said, $1,076,000 impact with the JUCO World Series. This could be over the top good for Enid, and I think it would be. But we just have to create one more facility, and we will literally be the sports hub for Northwest Oklahoma. So I'm excited about that. I want other people to be excited about that. If you're older and you go, I don't have any kids that play ball anymore, think about the financial impact, how that will help. But the young kids that are coming up, man, this would just be great to have another facility that other towns want to come and play at.
Yes.
Right? So I'm excited about that. And I think you're going to see more and more about that as we ramp that project up. So.
Very good.
Okay.
I hope all works out, because that would be very good.
Oh, it's going to work out.
Yes.
We're going to make it work out. Yeah.
Another thing, people at the speech, when you were making the speech, we were talking about the Call Lake Water Supply Program, and there was a question about whether the aquifers will still be in use, or would it supplement what we're doing with the Call Lake Water Supply Program? How will that all work?
Yeah, and that's a good question. People hear all kinds of stories about the aquifer out there. Fortunately, in Ward 5, we actually have an engineer that is on our commission, Rob Stallings. So we get a lot of good information just because we were fortunate enough to have Rob on our commission. But he had mentioned to me sometime back that you hear people say, well, the aquifer's coming back. It's coming back up. And that is a true statement. What he will go ahead and mention to you, and I may get the numbers a little wrong, but during the drought of 4 or 5 years ago, that aquifer went down about 18 feet. And that's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. And then now that we are not in such a drought state or situation right now, that's come back up about 15 or 16 inches. So it's a true statement that it's coming back up, but it will literally take years and years for that to come back. Now, that being said, we couldn't depend on that for our water source. I've mentioned before that with the amount of water that we can filter and clean and make potable to use, we run razor thin on what our usage is, to about 1.5 million gallon difference right there. So if we were to have a stretch of drought, we could be in trouble. But even as important, I won't say more important, we can't bring in more industry that needs and uses a lot of water, like Koch Industries. So if we would have had a company contact us and say, hey, we want to bring in 200 more employees, build a plant, can you supply us 4 to 6 million gallons of water a day? We would have had to turn them away. They would have gone somewhere else. Now we can say yes. Yes, we can. But back to your question, we're still going to use our wells that are out there on the aquifer. We just won't pull as much water as we have, because we're going to supplement it with 10 million gallons a day from the Call Lake. And so then people ask, well, what about Call Lake? Are we going to pull it down? You know, and I asked that first question. That was the first question I asked whenever I started hearing about the project. What do we do then when we drain Call Lake? And that has a massive basin that drains into it. I mean, it goes up multiple states. If you look at that on a map, trickles down, comes into that lake. It also has, I understand, a spring or two that's in the bottom of it. I know that during the drought, that water level didn't change more than 3 or 4 inches. So it is very, very stable. And I think it will continue to provide a lot of water source, good water source for us. So we'll slow down what we're putting the demand on our wells out around Ames. That will give us time also to fix some of those wells. You know, we've got over 100 wells out there, and that's a constant trying to keep that maintained. But then that water will come in from Ames, and then come in from Call Water. We'll blend it together, and then it'll be dispersed out across all of the Enid. And a lot of people don't know, we provide, it's either 6 or 7 different communities with water that we sell to them. So they depend on that Call Water project as well.
Yes.
So that being said, a lot of stuff going on, good stuff going on in the Enid. That water project ought to be done July of 2024. And we'll have a big celebration. I guarantee you. That'll be nice to get that off of our plate, you know, and get it functional. So I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably more than you wanted to know, but
very good information.
I have a question for you today, though.
Okay.
I do. I was out and about, and I had a lady come up and ask me, we were just talking, and she goes, how do you find out about everything that's going on in Enid? And I found that a little odd because, you know, I see it on my tablet, I see it on Facebook, I see it a lot of places, but maybe not everybody knows where to look. Can you kind of tell me or explain to these folks where they can go? Because we have a lot of stuff, man. We have concerts, we have First Fridays, we have baseball games. I mean, we have a lot of things that go on in Enid every single week. And can you talk just a little bit about that, how people can go and find that information?
One of the major ways people can go to find information that's going on in Enid, our neighbors, right in our building, we were at the Independence and Garriott intersection, and our neighbors, which is the Welcome Center, or we call it Visit Enid, they have all events that are in the community. You can go to their website, visitenid.org, and they post all community, city-related events there. Also, the city as a whole, my department in communications, we send out any city-related or special events. When people go and want to have a special event, a barbecue, triathlon, whatever, what have you, they submit an application with the city for a special event. And so when we get those applications and the event is coming on, they send the information to our department. We alert the newspaper, and all of the media about those events. We post events on our website, enid.org, any city-related event. And also there are third-party sites like Enid Buzz, where people can sign up on Facebook or what have you and view their events there. Our Parks and Recreation Department has a page, enid.org/parks. Also, they have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Enid Parks and Rec, REC. And you can find all the events that we are having there. For instance, we have the cardboard boat race that's going to be next Saturday.
That's right.
Basically, almost once a month, the Parks Department will have some event. We'll do a movie on park. We'll do the Christmas in the park. We'll do Haunted Gym. So there's a lot of events even that the city does and the Parks Department does that they can find information on. We submit these information also. We'll send it to, we'll put billboards up with KOFM, GWA, those billboards at the two, one on Cleveland and one on Garland. We'll put
That's right. I've seen concerts advertised and things up there.
And any other city-related event will be on our, it'll be at Strybank Center. If it's a Strybank Center related, we'll put things there.
I have even noticed on, I think it's a Sunday paper, they do a whole list of events for the next week. So it's out there, isn't it?
Yes.
You just have to go to one of those websites. Thanks. I appreciate that. And I know a lot of people out there appreciate that. So with that being said, thank you for joining us today. Remember, send in your questions. We'll do our best to answer anything. If I don't know the answer, we'll find someone that knows the answer. Send it in to askmason@enid.org, and we'll meet again in a couple weeks, huh?
Yes,
do
sir.
this all over. Thanks, Derrick. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.